These are the American rich kids. They were about to break into the house and kill people. The house's owner had called the police, but they didn't come. What could make those rich kids unbelievably reckless like that? It was the law. That night murder was not illegal. Everyone could legitimately kill each other on the street. It was America in 2021. Tonight was the National Purging Day. The man who was driving was James, a big boss of the high-class social group. Poor people didn't have the money for self-defense. They just became the prey waiting to be killed. He sold self-defense systems, so his house was like a strong fortress. He bought wine and meat to prepare for staying indoors that night and experiencing a peaceful night. He supposed that, if his family didn't go out, they would be safe and sound. You will be sharing the system with me. Tonight there will be no one disturbing us. Out of the window, the rich people were sharpening their knives. James intended to flee. He felt like he couldn't endure such cruelty. Returning home for dinner, the whole family were having fun talking to each other. James immediately took the self-defense steel wall apart and checked his gun. He was a bit worried and felt something different this year. Sitting safely in the living room, the family members stared at each other. "This is not maneuvers," I announced. The purging day officially begins. James was tired. He went back to the private library, started the radio. Actually, the purpose of tonight is to get rid of all the people that make no contributions to this country. In some corner that he wasn't aware of, a man intruded into the house. It was his daughter's boyfriend. He was about to make excuses to talk with James that night because James had always objected to their relationship. "He can't stop me from meeting you. This is James's son." A technician didn't like to interact with other people. He thought that night was so cruel. So, he hid in his room, manipulated the ugly robot to observe the distorted world. A homeless was being hunted. He was hopeless and scared, but nobody cared. After that, he secretly opened the defense wall. This way, his life was hanging by a thread. The homeless guy jumped into the house. The people in the living looked at each other. James was still scared. At that time, the daughter's boyfriend walked down the stairs. Her father shot him. The daughter cried out loud. James was frightened out of his wits. That was the first time he killed someone. But it was a long night. The worst thing was yet to come. These are the kids in private school. Simply, they were rich ones. They threatened James to hand them the homeless guy. "Your behavior is affecting our justice," James was thinking. But after the panic, the homeless guy quickly ran away. They smirked and cut off the electricity. James let them sit down. "We have to find that man and expel him. But they will definitely kill him." The son apparently was an innocent and loving boy. It was he who saved the homeless guy and took him inside the house. He couldn't chase him away now. Looking down and thinking, he saw his small robot. Operating the night system, he controlled the robot to search in the living room. Suddenly he found the homeless guy behind the couch. He helped that man to hide in the closet and didn't tell his parents. Unexpectedly, his sister ran towards the place that hiding the homeless guy. She was threatened. James thought that he couldn't persuade him, so he shot the man. He tied him up and prepared to take him outside. At that time, his son's attitude was like this. That homeless man got outside, he would surely die. What do we do with him? No, 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 don't touch me. What's happening? The rich kids were urging outside. They even killed a person at the door. You people dare to protect a trash man. The only value of it is to be killed by us. James knew that obeying meant staying alive. But his compliance from the daughter's point of view was murdering. She cried and stormed out. "Save your child. Get me out of here." Honestly, James didn't want to do this. Looking at the black man, he regretted it. "No, you wrong. I have another plan." He wanted to try being a good manner or a decent one. "We have to retaliate." Somebody said his conscience was woken up. Waken up or not, I don't know. I just claimed that he was doing a thing that mankind should do. He acknowledged that poverty was not the reason for his being purged. It was a chaotic fight. A young boy captured the whole family. The leader of the rich kids stabbed James. Are they worth risking your life, or this family? He didn't understand. James had money, he could stand aside watching and he didn't have to die. Why did he have to risk his life for an ordinary poor man? Thank you for presenting us with a memorable murder, Mr. Sandin. They were about to kill every one of his family. Luckily, on the verge of his death, the neighbors arrived. It was just that they didn't come to the rescue. The moment the defense wall of James's house collapsed, they knew that their envy could be released. Holding the knives, the psycho killers started to pray. God bless America. This country should revive. It was a proper excuse, they wanted to clean up everything that just happened in this house. We have the chance to relieve our anger. Fortunately, there were shooting sounds. The homeless guy that the son saved had succeeded in counter-attacking. The situation was reversed, but the mother didn't want to kill more people. Come on. Don't let anyone die tonight again, let it pass away in peace. Honestly, the purging night was stupid. The mother started to make fun of young people who were interested in killing others. She tied everyone up and pulled them to the dining table. The mother took a glimpse at the table. It was 7 o'clock, the purging day ended. Does everyone enjoy this event? Go to hell. Pardon, I can't hear you. The sun was shining. The aggressive rich kids last night put on the gentle and polite masks. Before this, she naively thought that if she didn't join the murder, didn't kill people on purpose, didn't publicly object to it, bad things wouldn't happen to her family. But she was wrong. When bad things came, no one could escape from them unless you have absolute power or money. Don't you understand? Tonight you can't harm anyone else. Now get out of my house. The alarm bell rang again. The purging night was over. But next year she forgave her neighbors. Would this day 1 year later, would they forgive her? That time, the television was broadcasting the news. MC started to brag that the purging night this year was so successful. Every excess part of America was cleaned up. Many wreaths were relieved. Next year would be so peaceful. Everyone was crazily jubilant. It was just that what the purging night helped get rid of was not the excess things, but the last humanity remained. The movie was shown in 2013. Some people say this is an unfounded fantasy movie, but in retrospect, whether it is or not, I don't dare to think.